All right, my friends, welcome back to another Rising video. This is going to be a quick one talking about important loot spots in every zone, and I sped up the footage to hopefully make this whole thing go faster. So the first location we're going to be talking about is this specific bandit encampment next to Quincy's stronghold, which has a really good probability of having chests with whetstone. If you are just starting a run and you're looking for whetstone to make your merciless copper weapon, this spot is super nice to just quickly pass through. You can even kill some of the enemies because a lot of them here drop whetstone as well, but the chests specifically have a really good chance of getting this whetstone. Next, we're going over to the Gleaming Meadows. If you find yourself in dire need of blood rose for potions after maybe getting killed or dropping or losing them all, you can just pass through here. Obviously avoid Polora the Feywalker if you need to, but you can just see just how many blood rose are in this location. It's honestly crazy. You can probably get about 300 easy through one pass through here alone. All right, now we're going to be up in Dunley here. The Dunley Lumber Mill has long been known by veterans of the game to have some really interesting and good early mats, but I'm just going to show you what this looks like. If you're starting a run and you want to do something a little bit wild, you can come up here. You're going to have to avoid some of these enemies, obviously, because if you're super low level, but you can just see how many planks and copper ingots specifically we get here. So you're just going to look at the number we have in our inventory as it goes up. It's honestly pretty crazy. And then so if you, the more daring vampires out there can do this strategy to try to get as many planks, fully refined planks and copper ingots as they possibly can. Just right off the bat, I've done this at level 10 and gotten enough to make 2 copper weapons and basically every single starter refinement station in your base that requires planks. So that's super good. Now we're going to head over to the Church of the Damned. I'm just going to show you here really quickly. What I'd like to do here is just run all the way to the back like this. You can see I'm aggroing like the entire thing, but if you run all the way to the end here and you jump off here, it is very likely that you'll completely drop all aggro from every single enemy there. Here it is on the map here, just showing everybody that. And this location can have Scourgestone, Grave Dust, super nice. You need the Scourgestone for the Scourgestone Pendant, but also you can find a lot of glass. You need a ton of glass in this game, especially early on. Into Dunley as well as throughout the game. You can just see how much glass we get from all these breakables here. It is actually super nice to be able to come here and just get refined glass as a consistent thing, and obviously you can get it in other locations, but it's good to have to know this kind of information. And you can see here I'm just jumping down and we can watch out for some of these enemies. It is kind of scary, but I like to mark these chests on my way up. You can see again just how much glass we're getting here. Definitely get a bunch of glass off of each of these breakables. And like I said, if you find yourself aggroing too many enemies, you can run back here. You do want to watch out for these skulls. They will follow you the whole way, but you can run back here and just do that. And even up here where Leandra is, you can find more chests with more Scourgestone and more glass. And whenever you're done with the entire farm, you can just quickly run over here, jump off the side here where you left your horse, and you are gone. Super simple. You can also actually just ride it all the way on the backside here, but yeah. So super simple, especially for those early mats that you're going to need. All right, now we're going to be over to the Cursed Forest here, talking about ghost shrooms. Now, we know the witches' huts are pretty consistent for having ghost shrooms for us. They can drop a lot, but you may not realize that the lair of the Behemoth and also Matka's little Curse Weaver spot also have a ton. I'm going to show you this really quickly. Here's just one of the witches. You can kill these really easily to get this ghost shroom. You know, it's pretty nice, 32, pretty solid. And I'm going to show you, obviously you have these, some of them planted all around here, but specifically the lair of the Behemoth is really nice. Even if Gore Crusher is here, you can actually go along the outside and take advantage of all these little ghost shroom, you know, growing areas. Basically, they have a really high spawn rate in here, so definitely something super useful. Now we're going to head over to Gloomrot South. So obviously a lot of stuff in Gloomrot South is pretty straightforward. Just go to the spots and there's going to be stuff that you need. But I wanted to point out specifically these 2 Gloomrot farms here, which have containers inside these buildings, which can be super nice. You can get a lot of silver in here, as well as things like mutant grease and other tier 2 mats. You just have to watch out for some of the enemies. Obviously, the mutants and everything are going to fight each other, but you can see these little things you can loot that may not really look like containers. There's containers on the wall and stuff that some of them may not actually look like it, and you may not have realized you can grab the loot in these containers here. And again, we can go through this whole spot here and get some really nice loot, but we're also going to stop off here at the Pools of Rebirth as well as Rustlock Village. They have some more containers in Rustlock. And Pools of Rebirth, I mean, a lot of people know this, but I'm just going to repeat this for people who don't. You can ride through here and get the the humans to fight the mutants a lot, and they can basically, a lot of times you can just pass through here and get some really easy mutant grease. You can see this gigantic battle that's going on here. So it's definitely worth it to just kind of drop there on occasion. And we're going to move up here to Gloomrot North. So something, again, Gloomrot North is pretty straightforward, but something I want to talk about was the empty base locations. So if somebody hasn't taken these base locations, you can actually get some really good stuff here. It seems crazy, but like there's high level mutants that spawn here, so you can get a lot of mutant grease, as well as other resources. Like, so in this location over here, you can see there's a bunch of quartz that spawns on this area. You can just see how much quartz there is. Some iron nodes as well, some more mutants, super nice there. And even in the back, you can get things like this static large sulfur node, which is really nice. If you can remember this stuff, it's here. It can be pretty useful for, you know, if you need that kind of loot. And now we're going to go down to Brighthaven Vineyards. This is also really, really nice. This spot here is actually something you can do as an early farm strat. If you come here and get these containers like this, a lot of the stuff you can get here, you get schematics, you can get tier 3 recipes, but you can also get tier 3 gems or jewels pretty consistently. Here's some, you know, fish, some iron. You can see I'm going to jump over towards Baron here. Even these houses here are worth looting if you can, you know, if you're safe enough to do it. So right here, you can see a tier 3 jewel. Really, really nice. Just again, watch out for those patrols. And I'm going to show you this entire loot path here. If you kind of run through the fields, you might drop some harpies in, which you can kind of bait into the patrols to make it a little bit easier for you to not have an aggro of like 50 different enemies all at once. Again, we have some more containers here. And we're going to run, if you get this aggro, just jump over the fences and use the fences to kind of block the musket shots. Again, we're just going to keep running. And there's a house on this spot here for some final loot. All right, now we're going to go to Brighthaven. Brighthaven is a huge farm. This has been a huge farm since the game came out. I'm going to show a really easy or a really quick farm route here. Go through this little break in the wall. We're going to run up over to this location here. You can see all these breakables. These breakables are money. You can do this as early as level 10 if you wanted to. I would probably recommend doing 20 or 30 if I'm being honest. 20 at the minimum in my opinion, but you can do whatever you want. You can just see exactly how many mats we get from all these breakables. These breakables are crazy. I mean, there's just so much stuff in here. You can get iron, you can get copper, leather, glass, reinforced planks, so many things that you need through so many stages of the game. And especially if you're in like a squad server with some of your friends and, you know, everybody's kind of like running around at the beginning of the game trying to, you know, progress through Farbane. If one of the guys gets sent over to Brighthaven, like this just to farm all this. I mean, just look at this loot we're getting. Again, keep in mind, this is an official 1x server. We're getting crazy loot here. And you can also see, you can just jump down here. You can use spots like this to hide. So watch this. It's actually really relatively safe if you know how to hide. You can see this patrol is walking towards me. When they get to about this point here, they're just going to turn around. I can just stand here and be completely safe. No issues whatsoever. And I can keep breaking stuff. Just follow them out nice and easy. Obviously, it's a lot easier if it's nighttime when this is happening. And I'm going to show you something also that's really nice here. If you go down to these little piers here, the guys in the upper level will not aggro you. So you can just stand here and it's just not even an issue. And there's a lot of times you'll find chests that spawn like this. And you'll see this little bridge here. It's kind of like a choke point, difficult to get around. But you can look at this. You can just wolf form jump across and keep the loot going. And also we have this spot here, this little, this nice little spot where the horses are, the stables. You can use the spot to hide in rat form if you have it. And just in case you do get aggroed like this from these guys on accident, you can also use these horses to really quickly drop aggro. If you can avoid these patrols, just go to the river like this. And you can jump across and you'll just see right here, they just completely drop aggro right away. Also, some of these buildings, you can go inside. They don't have anyone in them. You can kind of go inside them as well. Over here in the park, oftentimes you'll have a chest here. A lot of times it's a gold chest as well. Lots of good stuff you can get from that. And behind the general merchant as well, you have this little spot to hide. That one fence right there, they will not shoot through that unless they have already like acquired you as a target. And when you're ready to leave, just hop on a horse and ride out. I'm going to show you the path, you know, the pretty easy path here to get out of Brighthaven. Obviously, there's no patrols here, which is pretty lucky if I'm being honest. But regardless, you keep running this way. Just keep running all the way south here, and once you get past, obviously you can hide behind the buildings, you know, if you need to. But once you get past this spot right about here, you should be pretty much home free. You can run off the road here and dodge most patrols, just quickly dipping back on the road right here. running across this little broken path here and then just staying off to the side. You can see me just dodge one of the patrols there. No issues whatsoever. Keep running here, and once you jump down right about here, you are absolutely home free. We're just going to quickly look at the loot we got from breaking most of the breakables. This wasn't even all of the breakables that we had there. And this is all the loot that we got inside of Brighthaven, just breaking breakables. We didn't even loot containers, nothing like that at all. So pretty insane loot. And I'm going to show you really quickly another way in to Brighthaven. This is on the south side. If you follow the road here, you can just, wolf form again. Like I said, if you come here about level 20, if you'd like, or whatever level you'd like to, you can just run along the edge here. It's completely safe. There's no patrols at all. Run all the way to the backside here, and you wind up right at the stables. So pretty convenient. Super, super convenient there. All right, so now we're going to talk about the last spot in Brighthaven that's really, really good. This is the Brighthaven Cathedral. So people may not really realize just how nice this is on an early level. So again, we're going to use the same break in the wall like we did for the breakables in Brighthaven docks. Run like this. We're going to run right up into it without a holy resistant potion. I'm going to show you how to drop all the aggro. We're keeping track of all the chests that we see. I know this is going pretty quick, but you should be able to see a bunch of the chests here. Just on all over the place. They're kind of all over the place. And whenever you get done, you just jump over this fence here and you'll drop all aggros. You can ride all the way around in a circle, jump over here, drop the aggro, run inside the cathedral, loot these containers really quickly, which have jewels and whatnot. And then you can go like this, just break the fence, jump out and grab your horse and ride away. And if you're finding yourself in some danger, you can go over to the cliff and just jump off and you should be pretty much safe every single time. Here's another spot here. You can see these chests have gold chains in them, and I can't jump off right here. But again, I'm like, oh man, I really need to watch out for some, look for some place to jump off. And we just jumped off down into the docks. And finally, we're going to be over here in Mortium. So one of the coolest things about Mortium is you have these Silverlight patrols that aggro the Dracula mobs, and they can drop all kinds of crazy loot, tier 3 loot here. But you also want to look out for these chests that you see right there. These crystals are super important as well when there's not incursion events going on. You can break these to get greater Stygian shards when there's no incursion events. You can start farming those as early as level probably like 50 or so. So you can see inside these chests. These are pretty bad ones, unfortunately. You can also get like high-end potions off of these, which is really cool, as well as big chunks of Stygian shards as well. So another thing you can do in here that I really enjoy doing if I'm just kind of like bored or want to do something like this is follow a high level, a good composition, high level Silverlight patrol like this, who kind of just runs around and kills all the mobs for you. And if you fall behind them, it's usually pretty safe. Just be careful not to aggro them. And you can see here, they just wipe everything out. You can get greater Stygian shards. You can get bat hide. You can get recipes, all kinds of things from these guys. They just do the farming for you. And eventually they will clear out most of the patrols here, and they'll get so low that you can kind of just walk up and just finish them off yourself like this. You just bite that guy there, do a little bit of damage to the paladin here, and then we're going to bite him too. So just like that, we have all the loot we're going to need. And last thing here, we're going to talk about Dracula's Demise. And this is pretty obvious, straightforward, but one thing I do like about this spot is that it has high-level Dracula mobs, which you can use to get bat hide whenever there's no incursions or Dracula's garden is completely empty. So you can use this spot to get a lot of stuff. But anyway, that is going to be it for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one.